Hey guys, so today I've got Ray Ahmadi with me from eXp Realty. He's one of the fastest growing teams in eXp Realty within Ontario, which is doing really well. And I'm happy to introduce him on the interview today. Hey Ray,
Hello, Gurpreet Gill. How are you today?
good, good. How are you?
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No, no worries. So Ray, how's COVID treating you?
Well, COVID, I know it's actually been not so well for a lot of people. A lot of people have been sick and a lot of lives been lost, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah.
However, for us and the real estate business, it's been actually blessings in the skies, and the business have been very good in 2020, and it looks like it's going to be even better in 2021 due to very low interest rates and low inventory on the market. So it looks like the business have rebound now, and things are looking good.
Yeah, no, that's really good. It's a good thing that debt's so cheap, people can purchase so much more. Looks investment's going to be coming back in because the contraction period was only going to be for give or take about a year, just because this
Right.
is this is such a shock in the market, right? And it looks like everything's going to be reverting back to where it was normally going to, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. So Ray, I wanted to ask you, I know a lot of people may not know this, but you came here, I think it was about 10 years or so ago, right?
That's right. Now it's about 11 years. We just came at the end of 2009, and we came with no English, and we didn't know anyone. And I just started high school at that time. So
Uh,
it's fun times, and now we're here 10 years later.
oh, that's really good. So tell me a little bit about your journey. How did you end up, coming to Canada?
Good question. So we lived in Russia before immigrating to Canada from 2000 to 2009. So we lived there about 10 years. And my dad owned a business of importing and exporting and wholesaling from China to Russia. So we
Mhm.
lived there, and I went to school. And but we were looking for a better life, a better future for the family, and especially my dad was thinking a better future for the kids, for
Yeah,
us and my siblings. So we've applied to immigrate, and it took us about 3 years. But at the end,
wow,
the
that's
process
insane.
it worked, and after 3 years, we started the process in 2006. In 2009, we got accepted. We went through medical examination, and they gave us our visas. We got the tickets, and it came.
That's amazing. So your whole family's in Canada right now, right?
Yes, yes. The whole
That's
family is in
awesome.
Canada.
That's awesome. That's really good. I'm sure you spent a lot of time with them. How was
Yep.
how was the high school time here? High school, you college, uni, all that time.
It was actually a lot of fun. It was fun since when we moved here, I didn't know any English, so I had to go to English as second class, as second language classes, and we started with ESLA, and I had to move up the ladder to ESLB, C, D, and E before I could take the regular English classes. Other than that, the other subjects like sciences or math, they were actually easy because the level of education that is taking place in Russia is slightly different than the Canadian system. So some of the things that I was already went through in grade 8 or grade 9 in Russia, we would just to beginning to start in grade 9, 10, and 11 here in Canada. So I was ahead in that way, and it was fun years. We've been in the soccer team and football team and rugby team and made a lot of friends, and graduated high school with the 96 average overall.
Nice. That's awesome. So what,
Yeah.
you think you're better than us?
Nah, not at all. It
Joking,
just
I'm
I put
joking.
in the time and study it.
No, that's very good. You put in the time, put in the effort, and you get the results. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
What was your so when you came here? What was like your first job when you started picking up? I'm sure because obviously money isn't cheap. The school isn't cheap, right? So what did you end
Uh,
up doing for your first jobs?
Definitely not. I remember recalling my very first job that I got. It was not that I found it directly. There was an employment agency that you would go and sign up. and then they would call you whenever other companies they needed someone to help them with something.
Yes.
So I remember this one day I went for a really long commute from where we lived back then to this agency office. And I went there and I gave them my paperwork and they said, "What work can you do?" I said, "Any work that you have, I can do."
Yeah.
And I gave all my IDs and resume, which I didn't have any work experience back then, and came back home. It took us an hour and a half to go there and an hour and a half to come back. So
Oh, that's awesome.
so we came back, and about 2 weeks later, I get a call from the agency, and they sent me to a meat company. So my very first job, I was actually doing some cleaning
Yeah.
at the meat company over at St. Clair and Western Road.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a busy spot throughout the
yeah,
week, right? Yeah.
yeah. And I've been there for a few months and making about $7.50 cash an hour, which was really good because
I like so much. Yeah.
it felt like so much. And the other part is that we had to be there at 7 a.m. So for me to be there at 7, I had to leave my house at 5. Take us
Yeah.
an hour and a half, an hour 45 minutes to get there, and
Yeah.
we'd be there until 5 p.m. and then we'd get back home till 7.
Yeah, no, that's insane amount of hours you're gonna put in there. But what are you gonna do? It's your first job. You gotta catch somehow, right?
Yes, exactly.
No, that's good. So what ended up transitioning? Like, where was your sort of path progression from that $7 an hour to making so much money you're making right now? How was it? How was the path that you took?
Well, yeah, actually a long path, and the few different things that I've been doing in the middle. So it was a meat company at $7.50. Then went to work at a restaurant, and I was a busboy and cleaning tables for a few months, and earning about $10 an hour plus some tips if the guests would leave. And from there, we would actually work as a mover in a moving company,
Mm.
um, because I wanted to work. And this guy who owned a moving company, I went one time worked for him, and he's like, well, "You do a good job. You don't take rest, and you take everything out and put it in the truck nicely, and then from the truck you put it back in the house without anything being broken. So I want to keep you and keep coming and doing moving." So I've been doing moving for about a few years, and
Oh, nice. Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
me and my uncle, we bought our own truck and started our own moving company
Uh-huh.
for some
That's
time.
awesome. How did that go?
It actually went well at the beginning. Our marketing strategy was that we would print flyers and then drive through in the evenings, and post them on different bus stops, bus benches, on the trees in the neighborhood, or light
Yeah.
bulbs, and just put our flyers everywhere. We called it "Keep Moving,"
Oh,
and
nice, nice. Yeah.
and believe it or not, we got calls from those flyers.
Back when social media wasn't a thing, right?
Well, it was back in 2011, 2012. There was
Yeah.
Facebook, but not a big anything. But we got clients and calls, and we had a lot of moves that took place, especially in the summer months. So we made quite a bit of money with that.
That's amazing, man. I'm glad to see that. So then from the moving truck, did you guys end up selling it or what did you guys do?
Well, I started spending more time with studying, and it was closer to end of my high school. I finished it in actually 3.5 years, and my last year I started taking real estate classes.
Nice.
And then my uncle's like, "Well, if you cannot do it, then he's going to continue with the moving." And then he took over that, and I focused on real estate.
Hmm. So then why did you want to go into real estate out of everything there? Because you did high school so fast, right? So you had so much more that you could have picked out. So why did you choose real estate?
Good question. It's actually that my dad had bought our first home back in 2012, and after buying it for like 715,000, back then you could get a really big size detached house for
Next to nothing. Yeah.
715,000. Exactly. 4 bedrooms, 2-car garage, over 3,000 square feet on a premium lot. Now
Yeah.
you cannot even get a townhouse for that price.
Yeah.
Um,
You're getting one of those stacked houses.
right, exactly. So we bought it for 715,000, and my dad noticed how the realtor who helped us to get that house made substantial amount of money for his work, although he helped us to buy and move. My dad's like, if you can do similar job, then you can make similar commissions. And we
Correct.
were very intrigued that you can make $10,000-$20,000 by just simply buying or selling a house. So then there was an idea of me getting the license. And the moment I turned 18, I went to Rico and OREA and applied for the classes.
Nice, nice. Yeah, and that's the thing too. A lot of people think, oh, you just jot your name on a dotted line and then you make, $10,000, $20,000. It doesn't work like that, does it?
Not a well, you if you're outside of the business, then
That's
yes,
what you see. Yeah.
it certainly seems like that. That's what you see, because we saw him show us the house, and actually he showed us multiple homes, and then came with the paperwork and we signed it, and that was it from our point of view. But
Yeah.
now that we're actually in the business, it's not that simple. There's so many other steps that are involved in it.
Exactly. See, and then when you end up getting into the business, you end up getting through, your training, because I know you went through so much training as well. You've been doing this for about 8 years, right?
Yes, this is my 8th year in the business. So we
So,
started late 2013 and now it's 2021. Yeah.
so that when you've been doing it for so long, what's sort of the main sort of driver to be like, I've got this lifestyle, I've got my family that I want to support. What's sort of the same thing, the thing that just keeps you going over the next, 8, 10, 20, 30 years?
That's interesting. What it seems like the most important in building a big business and in my experience as well is really being there for your clients and
Mm,
helping them accomplish their goals, whether they want to buy their own home, their very first home, dream house. You should be there to actually accomplish that for them, or whether they want to sell their house. You should be really there to get the most money for them. Or if they want to invest, we should be advising them what's a good investment property, what's not. So it really comes down to being really, really obsessed over that customer experience. Just like Jeff Bezos says, one thing that they've been obsessed over is customer experience. And if you can
correct.
do that at the highest level, then people are going to become your raving fans, and it refer you more people and keep coming to you because they just love you and you made them so much money in real estate.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. And it looks like that sort of supporting aspect of what you go through, especially with your clients, your buyers, your sellers, leases, everything like that. You sort of carry that along with you for your students or for your people that you're mentoring as well, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
So when you end up teaching these mentee, well, I think they're called mentees, but so when you end up teaching your students, what are you trying to really instill in them as in the discipline of sales? Like, what are the three main things that you would tell them, do this every day or practice this every day so that you can get better at becoming a better communicator?
The very first thing that we work with all our agents who join us is really work on their mindset. Having the right mindset determines majority of whether you're going to be successful or not. And the mindset that we should really be in is the mindset of that we are here for our clients and we are really here to help them. We're not here just to make a sale and go away, or we're not here to think that we are not good enough, or we're not here to compete with anyone else. The mindset, number one mindset is that we're here to help our clients.
Mhm.
And whatever they want to do, then we will support in their decision and guiding them through the process. And if something is not right, we should definitely tell them that that is not the way it should be, even though it is in our interest, but not their own interest. So in other way, having the mindset of putting their interest before others, before ours even.
Correct. And now, so when you end up when you're teaching your students, what else would you tell them to like practice every day so you can end up becoming a better communicator of the message you're trying to have somebody better understand?
Right, right. And just as they're working on their mindset, the next natural step would be to work on their dialogue and their conversations with the buyers and sellers, and most importantly, working on their presentation. Because all we're doing is we're presenting ourselves. We are selling or presenting our abilities to help them in any way that we can. So definitely working on the dialogues, on the conversations, and having the discipline of showing up every single day and being consistent with it. Because it is the little steps of showing up that adds up and creates the compound effect over time.
Correct. Yeah. And there's a couple books that you recommended for me to read on that as well. I
Yes,
remember.
exactly. Yeah.
So when you go through this discipline, like for yourself, what do you usually do on a day-to-day basis that like really that you've solidified over the years as as the morning routine?
Well, as a morning routine, we people say that I wake up early, but I don't think I actually wake up that early. There are people who wake up earlier than me. I'm up usually around 5 o'clock in the morning, and then that first an hour to an hour and a half in the morning is very important to develop your mindset and actually get some things in you so you can develop yourself. So the morning routine looks like the miracle morning routine that been established by Hal Elrod. So there has been a book by Hal Elrod, Miracle Morning, and that is exactly how it looks like. We exercise, we visualize, writing and reading and scribing and really meditating. So that an hour to an hour and a half is very important to put those things in it. So that way you are set up powerfully for the rest of the day. Um, just after the morning routine that we have, very important to get the breakfast in and then get ready for work. So that is how it looks like. And then at work, the most important one is to practice and role play in the morning. So practice role play in the morning is very, very important. Every single morning, me and my team, we're on the phones and practicing our scripts and dialogues and conversations at 8 o'clock. And then give feedback to each other, what we did well and what we can improve on. And then we actually go and help our clients, whether they're finding a home or whether they're selling their house, and see what we can do for them. And then the afternoons are very different every day, depending on the appointments that we have and the people that we meet.
Oh, that's really good because going back to your early mornings, I tried waking up early morning and I got it down as a routine now. But what happened was through the mornings, I'd break, right? So sometimes I'd be like, you know what, I don't want to wake up at 4:30. I'll wake up at like 7 o'clock. And I hate the feeling because now it feels like, instead of being productive at 4:30, it feels like I just wasted 3 hours doing nothing but sleeping. Right. So I completely get that, especially when it comes to breakfast. I love eating. So, can't be too late on that.
Yes,
But
yes.
when you look at these sorts of things that you've gone down throughout your life, for the past 8 years as an agent, what are sort of like the tough times? Because it's not always rainbows and roses, right? So what's really like the hardest times you've had, do you think?
Definitely not. Recalling, there are a few instances that were really, really difficult, especially at the beginning. When I remember this one day, I've been sitting in my car. I just came out of the house for our clients who I got their listing, and they're ready. Their listing is ready to go back on the market. It was in early 2014, and 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 I look at my bank account, and there's literally zero money. And what we needed to do is actually go get a lockbox, which I didn't have. So we needed to buy a lockbox, put the key inside, prepare the home for sale, and actually go ahead and put it on the market and show it. So I'm looking at my phone, there's no money, and I look at the credit card, it's full. So I'm thinking, how do I get this lockbox? I got this listing, but I need the lockbox. So next thing you know is that I call my colleague in the office, and I asked for the lockbox, which he provided, and we put it on the market, and we sold it. And looking back, it may not seem as difficult, but when you're in the moment and you have no money, and just to get a simple lockbox, it is really difficult.
Yeah, no, it'd be so tough, and a lot of people don't realize that the mental effort that goes into it, or sorry, the exhaustion that goes into it when people are going through the bottoms and the tops, bottoms and the tops. It isn't as simple as having hindsight 2020, where I know I'll be okay. Yeah, it's $20 for lockbox, whatever. Is that when you're in the moment, like you said, it's much harder to get over a hurdle, and that's what usually traps so many people.
Right, exactly. You nailed it, and that was the beginning of my career, which went actually well. And then there was another hurdle that I remember back in 2017. As you remember, the market skyrocketed in the first beginning of 2017, going up by 15, 20, some areas up to 30% over a year. And
The good days.
the good days for some people. So
Yeah.
at that moment, I was personally, business was doing well, and I was investing in real estate. I was over leveraged in how many properties I owned, and some of those properties were pre-construction.
Mhm.
So the idea is that I would buy pre-construction properties, give the deposit, and by the time it gets built, then it will appreciate in price, and either I will keep it, refinance it, and rent it, or if it makes sense, I'll just resell it for profit. Back in 2015 and 16, I've done a few very successfully and made money on it. But on 2017, I had bought them at a high price. And you remember March 2017, government introduces foreign buyer tax.
Yeah.
They introduce stress test,
Yeah.
and they say that you cannot do this anymore. I mean, the market was just going nuts. And overnight, in a way, the market shifted from being seller's market to buyer's market.
Mhm.
And now there were more homes on the market and not as many buyers because they would not qualify for stress tests, and no foreign buyers, the numbers that we had. And the interest rates went up as well. So throughout that summer, the properties dropped. 2017 summer, I remember it was dead, no showings.
It's a heart
So
attack.
yeah, I closed on some of my properties, and what happened is that I had to sell it for less than I bought because I couldn't carry it for a long time because the next one would come up, the next one would come up.
Mhm.
And so I lost some money in one, and then in fall the other one came, lost some money in the other one, and then there were three more in early 2018 and middle 2018, which it almost made sense for me not to close them and resell them. It made sense to just walk away from my deposits.
Yeah.
So we had
Wow.
100, 150, 200,000 deposits in each one of them, which it just didn't make sense to close at that time. So I just had to walk away and have the builder make sure that they would not come after me. And that was the
That's
learning lesson,
insane.
not to overextend yourself and not to over leverage, and only buy real estate for a long-term hold and actually rent it. And if you want to get out the cash, refinance it. But those were really tough times, 2017, 2018, and losing so much money.
My God, I know closing with not even closing, just walking away, leaving $100,000 on the table. That's hard, man.
Oh yeah, oh
That's
yeah,
tough.
few times.
Yeah, no, I don't, I wouldn't be very happy with at that point in my life.
Yeah,
But I know you're on a tight schedule, and I'd love to talk to you on investments. I think the next video I want to do with you is going to be on investments. But let me ask you one last question because I
sure.
know you got to go. So when you end up working this sort of structure, what do you have plans for the future? What sort of plans do you have?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the plan for the future, and we're currently in the works of, is that where we are at eXp Realty is to grow our team and help agents to be productive. And the way we are planning on doing it is actually having training, support, and specialized area of study for them, because I want to create a group of individuals or agents where they can focus on resale, and a group of agents to focus on pre-construction, and a group of agents who can focus on commercial, and provide them with the marketing materials and support for them to be successful in whatever they're doing. So the idea is to help as many agents as possible sell as much as possible. So we're in the business right now of helping other agents and, of course, helping our clients as well.
Yeah, no, that's very good. It's a good thing that you have like a solid future plan, especially when you have three divisions working for you to each have their own goals. A lot of people think of it as, you know, I'm just gonna get 10 more agents this year and that's it, I'm set. But if you have this sort of solidified plan and different avenues to create, that's so much better. But I know it's about 12:07. You got a meeting to get to, so
Right.
I'll let you go. Thank you for coming on today, Ray. I really appreciate it,
Okay.
and I hope you have a great day.
Very good. Thank you very much, Gurpreet. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye bye.